list of amazing women in literature is boundless and endless and could probably go on for a few pages for me personally. But today I would like to pay homage to Susan Sontag, who was a 20th century American writer, filmmaker, philosopher, teacher, and political activist, who's also been described as one of the most influential critics of her generation. Her works tackled issues such as pop culture, the arts, gender studies, the AIDS epidemic of the 1980s, human rights issues, and other progressive ideologies. I wanted today to talk about her essay Notes on Camp, which is pretty much my favorite, just because it's so much fun. It was also the theme of the Metropolitan Museum of Art's last costume gala in 2019 before COVID hit, and I personally got to see it and it was amazing. Just very colorful and fun and kitschy. So today I'm going to read you a little excerpt from Notes on Camp. Camp is a certain mode of aestheticism. It is one way of seeing the world as an aesthetic phenomenon. It goes without saying that the camp sensibility is disengaged, depoliticized, or at least apolitical. Not only is there a camp vision, a camp way of looking at things, camp is as well a quality discoverable in objects and behavior of a person. There are campy movies, clothes, furniture, popular songs, novels, people, buildings. This distinction is important. True, the camp eye has the power to transform experience, but not everything can be seen as camp. It's not all in the eye of the beholder. The hallmark of camp is the spirit of extravagance. Camp is a woman walking around in a dress made of a million feathers, the paintings of Carlo Crivelli, the outrageous aestheticism of Steinberg's 6 American movies with Dietrich. All 6, but especially the last, The Devil is a Woman. Gaudi's lurid and beautiful buildings in Barcelona are camp not only because of their style, but also because they reveal, most notably in the Cathedral of Sagrada Familia, the ambition on the part of one man to do what it takes a generation, a whole culture to accomplish. The whole point of camp is to dethrone the serious. It is playful, anti-serious. It is good because it's awful. Of course, one can't always say that.
Hi, my name is Marie Nash, and I'm here at the Avondale Branch Library, and today we're celebrating Women's History Month. I would like to share with you one of my favorite authors, Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou was born April the 4th, 1928 as Margaret Johnson, later to change her name to Maya Angelou. You know, old people used to say, your name says something about who you are. Well, I think that Maya Angelou's name fit her very well. It attached to her spirit and became an essence to her personality. Maya Angelou began to compose poems at the age of 8, an avid reader and a lover of words, which influenced her life in a career of writing and theater. She spoke several languages, including Italian, French, Spanish, and even African. She has been a great inspiration to me with her many literary works. Reading her works inspired me to remember that whatever happens, you continue to rise no matter what. She is best known for her autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and her poems that she has got many recognitions for. One poem that she has actually got a Grammy for, which was On the Pulse of Morning, that she recited at the first inauguration for Bill Clinton in 1993. She has published several autobiographies, books of poetry. She has a credited list that spans over 50 years of her life, plays, movies, and television. Maya Angelou, an American poet, writer, memorialist, civil rights activist, a phenomenal woman. If you would like to learn more about Maya Angelou, please stop by the Birmingham Public Library and check out her book and celebrate women's history.
Hey everyone, I'm Sydney with the Avondale Library, here to talk to you about a literary woman who means a lot to me in honor of Women's History Month. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Éowyn from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, I will probably inadvertently give away spoilers. For those of you who have not read the book or seen the movies, now I know they're pretty old, but still, I like to give a warning. You can feel free to skip my section here if you so desire. Starting off, Éowyn, some background information. She's the niece of King Theoden in Rohan. So they are horse riding people. By the time you meet them first in the Two Towers, war with the One Ring and knowing that it's out there is already fast approaching. Orcs and Uruk-hai are already out there. The people of the Fellowship are already split apart. It's getting very much escalated by this time. Rohan is in danger. They've already been attacked a few times. The son of the king is dead. Éowyn is very much wanting to help. She doesn't want to stay behind and take care of the children and the women. She wants to fight. She knows how to fight. She's good with the sword. She can fight. She wants to do that. She feels like it would be much more of a benefit to her skills, but King Theoden does not want her to do that. He wants her to be safe, and so he basically says, no, you can't, and sends her away. So she ends up disguising herself as a man and goes and joins the army, also with the help of a hobbit who is, I would say, an equally discounted group of people in this story who end up mostly saving the day. So this is a reason this character means a lot to me. When I was younger, reading these stories, when you're younger, you want to see these people that appeal to you, people like you, and you want to see them do something that matters. And she did that. Her and Mary end up killing the Witch King, who is like the leader of the Nine Riders. Paraphrasing a little bit because they make the dialogue, it's more or less the same in the movie, but they do make it a little bit longer, or shorter rather, in the movie than they do the book. But he basically says, no man can kill me. And she ends up taking off her helmet and saying, well, I'm no man, and showing that she's a woman, therefore she's going to kill him, which she does with the help of Mary, also not a man, he's a hobbit. Basically, it's a big deal to kill the Witch King. Very powerful being. Seeing Éowyn, a powerful woman, doing something that is super courageous. She's not weak. She's able to do the strong thing, but she's also portrayed as someone with actual vulnerabilities. She deals with her feelings of losing her cousin. She's in love with Aragorn, but she knows she can't be with him because Aragorn's with Arwen. It's a story that means a lot to me, and it's important to have people like you in stories, to see women in places of power. Thanks for listening to my what I think matters, and one of my favorite characters in literature. I'd like to hear your thoughts as well.
Hello, I'm Miss Cass from the Avondale Library, and for Women's History Month, I want to share with you one of my favorite authors, male or female, J. California Cooper. She was a playwright and a novelist and a writer of short stories. Her first collection of short stories is called A Piece of Mine. It was published in 1984. Her work is at the same time unassuming and profound. I have always loved short stories, and J. California Cooper's are these incredible first-person monologues written from a single perspective. Reading her stories is like sitting at a kitchen table with someone from down the street or from next door, or even with one who sleeps in the same bed with you every night. And in the course of the conversation, they reveal to you their truth. And there is nothing to say, no judgment, just an ear to listen and a mind to ponder in acceptance and wonder if you could ever have the courage to speak your own. In her 2006 NPR interview with Ed Gordon, he talks about the fact that with a novel, you can have several hundred pages to tell the story. But with a short story, you've got to figure out how to get from the beginning to the end and still have a complete story. I love her answer. She said, well, you know what? I don't often talk about this, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. I don't have to figure it out. The people do it themselves. If I do 1 or 2 paragraphs at the beginning and I turn it over to the characters, they're going to take that story and run off with it, and I have to keep up with them. But when I write, she says, I talk about what's really important. Respect, for one thing. And I tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to hush, she said. The thing is that women and men think that, can I say nookie? Okay, women and men think that getting a little nookie and you've done something. You really did it, but the thing is, you're missing the best part, the warmth. Somebody get up and fix you something when you're sick. You're missing that. That's what life is about, not that stuff you do in some corner. You know what I mean? And I can't say it like I feel it, she says, but you got it. Well, Ms. Cooper, thank you. And yes, I get it.
Hey, I'm Corinne Flickinger, and I work in the youth department at the Avondale Regional Branch Library. I wanted to talk to you about one of my favorite female authors, Robin McKinley. So what McKinley does in her books is she takes classic fairy tale and fantasy tropes and kind of turns them on their head. She takes that damsel in distress and she explores her struggles and her growth and how she becomes the hero of her own story. Even though they're in these fantasy worlds, they just come to life as real women, complex women who are both strong and vulnerable, who are nurturers but also really fierce warriors who will do anything to protect those that they love. The characters in her stories often start out as marginalized, even victimized, but throughout the story they have an active role in their own growth, in their healing, in realizing, discovering their power, ultimately becoming that hero. Okay, so I want to tell you about my 3 favorite Robin McKinley books. The Hero and the Crown is the first one that I ever read. The hero, Erin, she starts out as young, marginalized. No spoilers. This is a story about magic and dragon slaying, but it's also about growth, a coming of age story, and taking charge of your own destiny. Okay, book number 2. It is a vampire story. It's not a Twilight vampire story. It's a story of self-discovery, of learning how to wrestle with the darker parts of yourself and how to fight for yourself and also for the people that you love. The last one I want to talk about is Deerskin, and this one deals with some pretty mature themes. It is based off of a grotesque fairy tale in a lot of ways. It's about a king and a queen and a princess. The queen dies, the king goes mad and decides that he must marry the only person who looks anything like his dead wife, and that's their daughter. The character, Lysar, she goes from a victim to a free agent. She discovers how to find justice and begin healing from the terrible things that were done to her. I just love that this story so tenderly deals with some of the evils that women face. One of the reasons why I love fiction is because it's the closest that we will ever come to actually living someone else's life, seeing things from their perspective. I hope that you find a story that really resonates with you.